Welcome back. In this video, we'll be learning about the basic thing which is very important in Microsoft Excel, which is sorting. Sorting, you can sort the data. It can be textual, it can be date, it can be number, anything in Excel. So we'll be learning about various topics in sorting. The first one would be basic sorting. Second would be multi-layer sorting. The third option would be based on the color. We can based on the font color or the background color, we can sort the data. And the last option would be custom sorting. If you want to have our own method of sorting, own list of sorting, we can do that. So let's begin with the first example, which is basic sorting. Now to do that, we have some sample data, and if you see on the screen, there are 4 columns. One is department, employee name, then we have date of joining of the person and what is the salary. Usually this data is not shown because salary is shown of every person, but I am showing you the salary also. So how do we do the sorting part? Okay, we can do the sorting on numbers, on dates and on text, all 3 options. The simplest method to do a sorting for the numbers, you can just keep your cursor in the column where the numbers are there. Okay, you can just keep the cursor and then you can simply right click on that place, select the option as sort and sort smallest to largest. When you click on this option, you can see the lowest salary of a person is Julie Harkin, which works in the human resource department, which is 10,251. Now this is from ascending order, okay, and if I want to see in the descending order, I can simply right click in the place anywhere, okay, in that column anywhere I can click, right click, sort largest to smallest. When I do that, I can see 49,942 is the highest salary for Ernest Talia, which works in the department which is marketing department, and the person works from 20,000 2018. And these are the options. So these are the lucky winners who will go out when the recession comes first. If they are important, the company will ask them to stay, but if recession is there, they have to go, because this person, if this person is there, it's almost 5% salaries paid to that one person. Okay, so this is how you can do the sorting for numbers. Now the other method, if you forget this method, is you can keep your cursor in the cell of that column, go to the data menu bar, and you can see there's a to Z and Z to E. Okay, so A to Z, if you see, it's sorted in ascending, again Z to A, it will sort in descending order. The other option is in the home tab, you can see on the right hand side, again there's a sort and filter. The first 2 options does the same work, sorting the numbers in ascending or descending. Now if I want to find out the first person who has joined the company, date of joining, okay, suppose this is a data of a company and I want to find out who is the oldest employee in this company. Okay, we can keep the cursor and again right click on that cell, and then we have the option from this drop down, and we have the option as sort. Again we have this option as sort oldest to newest. So the oldest person who has joined the company in 2010 is in the finance department, Allison. Usually it doesn't happen, finance department comes at the last. Okay, so then in 2010 that person has joined, which was salary was 45,840 824. Okay, so that's the person, and second, third and fourth. Now we want to find out who is the newest person who has joined the company. Okay, so same method, again right click, we can click on sort and then newest to oldest. So now we'll welcome the person which is Manuel Stilly, which has joined in the year 2021. Okay, he's the newest person and the last person who has joined the company here. Okay, whose salary is 30,172. So this was for the dates. Now same thing, we can right click for the text, right click, sort A to Z. And if you see, the names are given in the alphabetical order. In schools or colleges, usually the roll numbers are given based on the alphabetical order. Same way, here also, if you want to sort the data and if you want to give the numbering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we can sort the data and give it here. And the last one for the department, right click, sort Z to A. This is sorted in the descending order. Now it becomes easy for us to understand in R&D department who are the people and what are their salaries. So when we scroll down, marketing department, who are the people and what are those salaries. So this is what you call as basic sorting. This is very important for any new person who's joining the company, any school student or a college student, how to work on basic sorting. If you understand this, now we can go to the next topic here. The next one is the complicated, or I can say as multi-layer sorting. What is multi-layer sorting? So suppose there's a scenario, we want to find out in the department wise who is having the highest salary. For example, if you see, these are marketing department, R&D, accounting, finance and so on. So various departments are there, but I want to trim the company. For example, there's a recession coming. I want to find out the top 3 people in every department who has the highest salary. So I want to sort the data. So first I need to sort the department column because it can be brought together, and then in every department we can have the salary option as well. Okay, so how do I do that? So normally by this method it will not work. We have to go by other method. So what is the other method? We can keep our cursor in the data and then go to data tab, and here we go have the option as sort. So when we click on this sort option, a separate dialog box appears. So let me zoom the screen, and here you can see we have the option as sort by. So first option, we can sort the department, and we want to sort the cell values A to Z or Z to A, anything can be done. But after sorting the department, we want the highest salary to be on the top. So now we can add one more criteria. We can sort based on the salary cell values which are largest to smallest. Okay, I told you the condition largest to smallest, and here we can have the option. Now when I click on OK, when we click on OK, please observe, now in the accounting department this column has been sorted alphabetical order. In the accounting department we have this three people, 47,000, 44, 43. These are the people getting highest pay. Let's see the second example. In the administration department we have this people, if you see, it's in the descending order. So this is what you call as multi-layer sorting or multi-column sorting. That is also possible here. Now you can do by various methods. For example, suppose if I have the option, let's say date of joining. So in every department I want to find out who has done the joining first. Again I can go to sorting, and if I want to delete the last level, I can click on delete option, and here I can just add a level that in every department who is the first person joining the company. So which is oldest to newest, I can select. Now I can just click on OK button. So this way, in the accounting department, the oldest person to join is Karoni M. Okay, some specific person here, and then Misha Shokir, some name is given here. So these are the oldest employees joining in the company. This is what you call known as multi-layer sorting. Now the third one, very important, is the color sorting. Now if you see, there are some cells which are colored in green, yellow and red color, okay, the background colors, and the others are font color. If you see, the font color is changed here. Now what happens is, if a person is doing a good job, we highlight that person in a green color. Okay, if the person is doing a bad job, the person is highlighted in the black color. So these are two people, and then moderate people we can keep it. Now when the time of promotion comes in the company, or if you want to give some incentives, or if you want to send some goodies to those people, we want the green color highlighted people on the top, okay, the red color highlighted at the bottom. So first let me disable, right click, sort A to Z. I'm just disturbing that data, and if you see, the green color is in between. So how do I bring the colors on the top? So the topic here is sorting by color. We keep a cursor here, and then right click on this place. We can select the option as sorting, and in the sort option, carefully observe, we have sorting A to Z, sorting, based on cell color on top. We can select the option. If I select put cell color on top, now this will give me which cell color. Okay, so here it is not giving the output, so the method does not work. Which method works here? You keep your cursor, go to the sort option, and here you can tell them that from the column which is employee name, the cell color. Now this is very important. Earlier we were sorting based on the cell values, but we will select the option as cell color, and which color on the top? As I told you, green color should be on the top. We selected the green color and then click on OK. Now this is green color on the top. But what about the second and third color? We can give that option as well. Again we can click on sort. Now we can click on add level, employee name based on the cell color, and this could be second color on top, again employee name, then cell color, and we want the option red color on top. So these are three colors which I have given the priority. Now when I click on OK, if you see, this has been sorted in the order which I want. Now why do we need this color? First of all, to grab the attention of the end user. If this Excel I have prepared, I am not going to use it. I'll be showing it someone else or some other person who's going to take a decision. So in order to help him to take a fast decision, I have to make it little bit ready. Okay. Similarly, now if I want to highlight or if I want to sort based on the font color, the same thing, we can keep a cursor in the data, click on sort option. Let us delete this all three levels. Now we can click on add level, the date of joining, we will select the option as font color, red on top, again date of joining. We can select the option as font color, and the second color should be blue on top, and then click on OK button. So this way, red color, blue color and the other colors are sorted. So this is what you call known as sorting by color, very important. And the last one, have a look over here. So this is the last topic which you have, custom sorting, very important here. Now for example, if I sort the data, let's say department, right click sort A to Z. So department, if you see accounting, admin, customer, these are sorted in alphabetical order. But suppose if I want to sort the month name, okay, the month name, if I select, right click, sort A to Z. Month name, August, April are given first, December, February and so on. So the months are never sorted in this fashion. The months are sorted in Jan, Feb, March, April, May, and that is the order what we have. So, but what Excel treats, this Excel is treating this one as a simple textual data. It's not a textual data, it's though textual data, but it is having some values. So January should be first, Feb should be second, March should be third. It cannot be sorted in alphabetical order. So now I can tell them sort by the custom sorting. To do that, we can keep a cursor, click on custom sort. Here in the month sorting, so we will be selecting here cell values, but should we sort based on A to Z or Z to A? The answer is no. We will be selecting custom list. Now what is custom list? We have covered the topic in the previous session. Custom list is you can define your own custom data, okay, and your own custom order. So custom list, and we will be selecting this list here. Carefully observe, the list is this one, third one, yeah. So Jan, Feb, March, April, May, in this order only the data should be sorted. Now I can just click on OK and click on OK. So if you see at the back end, now the months are sorted in this fashion, Jan, Feb, March, April, May and so on. Similarly, if you tell or if you teach Microsoft Excel that this is a list and this is a sequence, you can sort the data always in that sequence. That is possible. Okay. So that's it. So these are 4 different types of sorting in Microsoft Excel. I hope you have understood the topic named as filters. This video would be on the basic filters. Filters is a very vast topic and it has many advanced options as well. So in the coming videos, there are some advanced filters options, filter by functions, advanced filters. But this video is dedicated for 4 topics. The first one would be basic filtering. If you have some data and how do you filter that? Second would be you can filter by colors, you can filter by wildcard, and the last option would be how do you filter unique values or find out unique values in a data. These are 4 topics which we'll be covering. So let's begin with the first one, basic filtering. We have the data on the right hand side which says basic filter. We have purposely entered different data types, a date data type, a text data type, month which is again text, and a number. If you notice here, we have dates, countries, these are all the countries across the world, and these are the month name and the sales. So suppose if I want to filter the data only for country India, so India is my country, and if I want to filter the data only for India, how do I do that? We can keep a cursor in the data, and first thing, how do we apply filter? There are various methods. The shortcut method is Ctrl+Shift+L. When you press Ctrl+Shift+L, you can see on the top, these are small tabs which comes over here. This button on the top in the data menu bar gets highlighted. If you want to disable the filter, Ctrl+Shift+L, and if you see this disabled, these options have gone. If you're a student in school or college, this shortcut might be asked in your exam. If you're a working professional, don't remember the shortcuts, you can just keep your cursor and then click on the filter option, filter would be applied. Now this is one method. The other methods are also there. You can however go to the home tab or home menu bar, and here on the right hand side if you see sort and filter, then we have the option given here as filter. That's the option here. So these are multiple methods. Let's go in detail. Here when we open a filter option, by default sorting comes free with that. Okay, we have learned the topic about the sorting in the previous example. What is that sorting? Suppose in the sales column, if you click on this drop down over here, we get this option. Here the top 3 options, if you see, these are for the sorting. You can sort smallest to largest, largest to smallest, or sort by color. These are options. We'll not go in detail because we have already covered this topic. Here comes the filters. If you see, there's a number filters, and these are the numbers in that particular column. Okay, so when we click on number filters, plenty of different options are available. If I click outside and if I now click on the month column, if you carefully observe, the number filters have changed to text filters because Excel is very smart. It understands what is the data below that, and therefore now the values are given as text filters. Now if I click on the dates column, and if you see, now we have date filters. I did not do anything, okay, but here automatically understood that these are the dates and these are proper dates given, so I can filter based on the dates value. Let's do it one by one. Suppose I want to see a data where the values are, let's say, between 2000 to let's say 5000. If you see the values are many over here, let's say not 2000 to 5000, let's say below 2000. Okay, we want to filter the data which is below 2000. So sales drop down, number filters, and we can select the option as less than. I'm just giving one example. You can see plenty of different options are there. You can practice one by one. We can select the option as less than, and here the value would be 2000. When we click on OK, these are all the sales item, these are all the country and the month name where the sales is below 2000. Now we can keep a track, we can take a decision on that. Okay, and here you can see the options. So I'm just leaving these options for you so you can practice this option. These are upper options. The next one, if you see, there are top 10, above average, below average, and so on. First, if I want to clear a filter, if I don't like it, I can click on this clear filter option from here, or in the data menu bar, if you see, there's a clear button here. So these are two methods which you can clear the filter. It has gone away. Now, if I want to see all the numbers which are, let's say, below average, I can click on this option below average, and these are all the numbers below average. I can go back and I can select the options which are, let's say, above average. So these are all the numbers above average. But suppose now I want to find out the top 10 people, okay, or the top 10 countries where I've got higher sales. So I can go back, I can click on number filters and select the option as top 10. It is saying top 10, but if you see this dialog box, it says you can pick up more than 10, less than 10. So let's say if I am having the option, I'll put here 3. So I want top 3 items and I can click on OK. And here comes the top 3 countries where the sales are higher is very difficult to pronounce. You can see on the screen, Mongolia is something, Monaco is one country, and Moldova is one country. So these are top 3 countries with higher sales. Now if I click on this button, clear filters for sales. Same way for the textual values, either you can select the month from here, that is possible, or you can click on text filters, and there are various parameters with this. We'll see on the next column here. Suppose I want to see all the countries which begins with alphabet I. Okay, here we go, text filters, and here these are the options. We want to see all the countries which begins with alphabet I. So here we go, we can put here word I, alphabet I, and click on OK. So this gives me India, Indonesia, Iraq, Iran, Ireland, Israel, Italy. These are the countries whose alphabets are starting from I. Suppose I want to see all the countries which ends with alphabet, let's say E. So we can click on ends with alphabet E, click on OK. So no country ends with alphabet E. Again, let's try ending with alphabet A and click on OK. So most of the countries, if you see, these are all the countries where ending alphabet is A. So we can click on clear filters. Now the next part would be for the date filters. Now when you see the dates are in DD, MMM, YY format, okay, if you see this option. However, Excel is very smart. It has grouped the dates into year, months, quarters. If you see here, the dates are given as years. If you click on plus sign, again it is giving in months. So Excel is smart enough to club the dates into years, quarters and months. You see, quarters are not visible. We can, if you have more data, it will definitely give the quarters value. So suppose if you want to see the option, let's say 2021 and click on OK, only dates of 2021 sales would be visible here. Okay, that's possible. So if you want, we can clear the dates from here. Similarly, if you want to have some other options, now this is a vast library and I want you to spend more time, let's say almost 1 hour if you're a student, college student or school student, spend 1 hour to master this subject over here, master this topic here. Now usually in the company, if you have lot of data, 5 years of data, if you want to see only data which is of this month, because you want to send a monthly report, you can see data only of this month, then we have an option of this month. Currently we don't have data for this month, but please observe this month. So this month data would be visible. I don't have this data. Let me Control Z and suppose I put some dates over here. These are this month's data. So the month when I'm recording is the September month. I can go back here and I can click on this date filters, and if I see this month, so this month data I can copy and send it to my boss, and I can tell to my boss, please find the attachment of this month report. So boss says, why you're sending me this month? This month is already going on. Send me the previous month. So we can go back, clear filters, and from this date option, date filters, we have an option of last month. Again he says quarterly report will you send me, you can select the option as last quarter. If you want last year report, definitely you can go for last year report if you see these options. So quarter wise, year wise, month wise, day wise, and there's also one option week wise. Sometimes people ask you weekly report. What is the weekly sales? Can you share me the weekly data? So last week, this week, next week, you can also find out. And then there's an option of today, tomorrow and yesterday. This interesting option is today. Today, if you see, it's 4th September 2024. Now, if I open this Excel file tomorrow, it will show me 5th September 2024. If I open this Excel after 1 month, it will show me 4th October 2024. So the dates will automatically change. So why it is important? If I want current day data, so I can use this method, which is today option. And now there is some other option, okay, date filters, which is, these are customizable options: before, after, between, equal to. If I want the dates, if I want the data between 1st of January to 3rd of March, anything, so I can use this option between. Okay, so I want all the data before joining this manager. A new manager has come in the office, sales have come down. I want to find out before this date what was the sales, and after the manager joined, what are the different sales. So there are some options before, after. I'll show one example. Let's say before, and I'll put here, let's say 1/1/2024. So I want all the data before 1/1/2024. I can click on OK. However, we can customize equals, before, after, and so on. We can click on OK. Or if you see on the right hand side, there's a calendar button, date picker. So from here, you can pick up the dates, whichever you want, and select the option here. So we can click on OK. And this gives me all the data before 1/1/2024, which is 1st of January 2024. So these are different options. Spend more time on dates. Very, very important topic for all the people who are new to Excel. Moving further, now we have filtering by color. Now sometimes, as I told you earlier, if you want to filter the data based on the color, so red is a danger color. Okay, red means something wrong has happened. So we can first of all apply filter, Control Shift L, and here in the district we have the option as filter by color. So when we say filter by color, there are two colors. We can select the color, and these are the red color highlighted areas. Remember, whenever there's a red sign, you need to be more careful, more attention. It can be in your mark sheet, it can be on balance sheet, it can be Excel, it can be on a traffic signal. Anywhere if you see a red symbol, or in a share market, stock market. So here we need to take care and pay more attention. Copy data, send it on a mail to your boss. Okay. So we can go by text filters, filter by the second color, and if you want, we can clear filter from here. Very simple option. So this was filter by color. Now the next one is filter by wildcard. So here we can press Ctrl Shift L and apply a filter. Now what is wildcard here? I want all the text which is starting with alphabet I, alphabet P. So in the country column, we can type here in the search box. Suppose I search India, and if you see, it has filtered the data and has given me India. But if I want all the countries which are starting with alphabet I, so you see all the countries starting with alphabet I have put here alphabet I in capital and star. What is star? It's a wild card. Okay, if people have learned DOS, disk operating system, we used to use star, question mark, underscore. Star means 0 or more characters. It can be only I can be a name of a country, or it can be I1, I2, I3, or any number of characters. So star means 0 or more characters. Suppose I want all the alphabets or all the countries ending with which say alphabet, let's say A, I can put star A. So this will give me all the countries which are ending with A alphabet. If I write as L star, I want all the countries starting with L, and further text can be anything. If I put LE star, so it tells me there are two countries where starting alphabet would be L and E, and then remaining text can be anything. So these are two countries. So if I say PO star, nothing is there. So if I say P, no country with P, R and star. So if I put here star, no country with R. In the data, I don't have any country with R, but these are the methods. So this is known as wildcard. So you can see this option as well, very interesting. And the next one, this is the most important, finding unique values from a data. Now have a look over here. I have the name of the countries, approximately 30-40 countries. Okay. In the beginning, if you see, there are some countries, let's say India, Ireland, and then Japan. These are repeated values. Let me zoom the screen. These are repeated values. Now I want to find out unique name of the countries from this data. And how do I do that? So finding unique country names would be by other method, which is advanced filter. So you can see what is the method. So I need to select the source data. This is the source data, which is the column AX column. And I need to select the target data. That's it. So two things you have to remember: select source data and select the location where do you want the output. So let's do it. For that, we can keep a cursor in the column and go to data tab or data menu bar. Here we can click on the advanced option. When we select the advanced option, this is a dialog box. So it says, do you want to filter the list in the same place or do you want to copy to another location? Definitely, I want to copy the data to another location. So we can select the option copy. First one is clear. Now, the second two questions is asking, what is your list range? What do you exactly want to filter? So here I go, I will delete this and we can just keep a cursor in the first box, select the data. I'm keeping the cursor in this India, Control Shift down arrow key. So when I press Control Shift down arrow key, it is selecting till the end. If you see 43 row number, it's selecting. Second, copy to. Very simple, I just select some location on the top, let's say this location. So I want to copy the data to this location. So selected source data, selected target data. And the last thing which I need to do is unique records only. So I don't want duplicate records, unique records only. And when I click on OK, so here you can see we have list of name of unique countries in this location. The only thing is it is pasted on the left hand side. It should be pasted on the right hand side here. So let's try one more time. We can go to advanced option and here we will scroll on the right hand side. And now after scrolling on the right hand side, we are selecting the data again and then copy to another location. We can select the data again on the right hand side, the blank cell over here. And now unique records only. So it has selected by default the previous data, but now I'm just clicking on OK and this is giving the data over here. Now carefully observe India, it's given as twice. Now the reason why India is given as twice because it is thinking that the column header is India itself. So we need to go back and correct that mistake. Along with the column headers, we have to select the data. So let's do that. Again, we can click on the advanced option and here if you see without the column headers, if you see the dotted lines, here we have to change instead of A5, we'll be changing this to A4 and copy to another location. We can select the option over here. Now unique records only. So remember, do not do the mistake in the work, do the mistake right now when you're learning itself. So now when we click on OK, now if you observe here, we have just got one India here. Now always remember, you need to select the column headers or column heading so that you don't get the duplicate values for India. That's a simple method here. These are the four different type of filters. Again, these are the basic one. For a beginner, this is very important to learn because in future there are some advanced and complicated filters which are coming very soon. I hope you have understood the basic filters in Excel, the advanced filters in Microsoft Excel. We have covered the basic filters, filter by color, filter by wildcard and so on. Now we'll understand about the advanced filters. There are some problems in the basic filter for copy paste. Therefore, we will be learning about the advanced filter. Now, what is the data and what is the question here? Please understand. We have a very small data because we are learning right now. In the company, the data becomes very huge, 40, 50 columns, thousands of rows. The data is very small, which has the country name, product name, month and sales. Now, what we have is the question. With the help of this criteria, we just want to filter the data over here. For example, if the name of the country is given as India, we want to filter the data of India and copy paste over here. Now, when we do a normal copy paste, the rows get hidden and it gives a problem. What is the advanced method is three things you have to remember and there are three steps. Source data, that is the source data over here, criteria data, and after that you can just put the destination where you want the data. Again, source data, criteria data, and then the destination where you want to paste. So for that we can just first delete this column over here and now let's begin. So we can keep a cursor in this data and then go to the data menu bar, advanced option. When we select on the advanced option, as you can see, there are three topics over here or three boxes, 1, 2 and 3. As I told you, 1, 2 and 3 in the same sequence. First thing, we want to copy to another location. We can select the option copy to another location. Here list range means your source data. We can click on the list range which is already selected. If it is not selected, we can manually select it. Why it is selected? Because my cursor is already in the data. It's by default selected. The second one is the criteria range. So here I can zoom the screen. I can click here and select the criteria range. So criteria range is country and the name of this place. And here copy to another location. I'll select some location over here like this. I'm selecting some area. Now after doing this, when we click on OK, the output is again, you'll be getting this three places. Okay. If you see here, the data is for 3 and here we have only data for 2. The reason being is, if you see after row number 6, after 6 there's a row number 8. So if you see row number 7 is hidden, so I need to just increase the size of this row the height of this row and I'll be getting the data. And same for the column heading here. So this way we can filter the data very quickly. So what is the thing? Your source data, your criteria range and your destination. These are three things. Now let's see the other example, advanced filter 2. Now the conditions have increased, the criteria have increased. So again, that's the source data, same data almost. You can see now the condition is the country should be India. If you see the country is India again, the month is June and the value should be greater than 1000. So here I will press Control D. If you see the country is 4 times India, it is 4 times month of June and the value is given here. So if you see 4 times India, 4 times June and here 259 to 1400. So I want whichever values are greater than 1000, that should be filtered. So I don't have to do much effort because this row is very important. Let's do it. 3 steps: source data, criteria and destination. Advanced option, and here we go. We can delete and select from scratch if you want. That's a source data. Second, criteria range. We have to select the criteria including the column heading, copy to another location and we can select this location over here like this. And when we click on OK, and if you see, we have got the data from this entire data set. Wherever the values are above 1000, it has given that. So if I don't follow this method, what is the other method? Apply filter, copy and select the country India. Second is again filter for the month of June, again filter for the value which is greater than 1000. Now if there are multiple columns, I have to keep on doing it multiple times, but here 3 steps and I can just copy and send it data to my boss. The next example is OR condition. So here again the data same, but condition is either the country should be India and month of June or it could be Indonesia and the month of July. So when it is in the row wise, that means it's an OR condition. If it is in multiple rows, it is OR condition. If it is in single row, it is an AND condition. So same thing, 3 steps: source data, criteria and the destination range. So cursor in the data, advanced option, source data is already selected, I don't have to do anything. Copy to another location and then criteria range, if you see along with the column heading, I have to select, copy to another location, click on OK. So this way it has told me the output here and India, custard and June. If you see Indonesia for the month of July is not given here. Therefore, it has found no data about Indonesia July. Let's do it one more time. If I type here, let's say June and do it one more time. So advanced option, copy to another location and copy to other place. So now it has given me Indonesia and June option. Now this is what you call the advanced filter. Now for people who are using before Office 365, the latest version of Excel is Office 365. If a person you are using before Office 365 older version, you should follow this method. But now in the latest version of Excel, okay, we have an option named as filter function. So filter function is more dynamic. With every problem, there's a new solution. For example, if I change it to July, is this data changing? It's not changing. If I change this to August, is this data changing? Not changing. So when I change the criteria, my output is not changing. So this is only one time effort what I have to take and one time output. What I want is if I change the values in the criteria, the output should change over here. Then what should I do? So in the previous version of Excel, no solution, but in the new version of Excel, the solution is filter function. Let's try to understand. So again, this is the data again. Let me delete the output first of all. Same story, no other different story. We have source data, we have the country name and we want the output here. Whenever the country name changes over here, we want the output should change. So how do I do that? So 3 things again you have to remember. First thing is filter function. This is my source data. Okay, source data over here. And second is obviously the formula would be written over here. That's a formula place. And third thing is this is the criteria. But country criteria is not in the whole table. Country criteria should match with this column. Okay. So remember 3 things again. This is one data set. I'm writing the formula over here. And the third option is this country I should match with the entire column. Let's do it. So here we go. In this cell, we'll be writing as filter is a function. It's a latest function not available in the previous version of Excel. So filter, and if you see array, it's a syntax. Let me zoom the screen. This is the syntax array. Array means the data set and then include means the criteria I'm saying. So let's do it. This is our array, comma, and we want to include this particular column. If you see, I've selected the column in the red icon over here equals to, and we can select country India. That's it. So when we close the bracket over here and press enter, we will get the output here. So simple. Okay. If I type here instead of country India, if I type Iraq, value changes. If I change the value as Japan, enter Japan, the value changes. So this data has become dynamic. So wherever there's a problem, Excel tries to find a solution, Microsoft tries to find a solution and gives us the output. Let's try one more with the same example. So advanced filter 5, I'll delete the output here. The question here is, we have country India, month June, sales as 1000. So sales is, let's say 1000, but I want above 1000. So how do I do that? Based on multiple conditions. Carefully observe, filter by and condition. Whenever there are multiple conditions, we have to use again same filter function. So let me try to explain you. Equal to filter, this is the array. I will match this column with this data, I will match this column with this data and this column with this data. So the formula will become lengthy. Okay. So initially I think I'll pick up this two data, not to confuse you. Equal to filter, press tab key, and here first value becomes as array. So that's the array. You can see in the formula bar, if it is hidden at the back end, comma, this column we can match with this column, which is a particular cell. Okay. And now we have to take care that first condition is there. So I'll put in the brackets. Okay. So remember, if there are multiple conditions, we'll put in the bracket and multiply the star symbol. If you have to satisfy both the condition, you have to put star symbol over there. The second bracket will have second condition, which says this particular data should be equal to this particular cell, and close the bracket. So remember, first condition in bracket into second condition in bracket, press enter key, that's it. So India for this place is given for the June. So if I say India for July, let me press Ctrl D. If I put here JUL, enter. So India for July is given. Now the third condition is, I want values which are, let's say, above 1000. Okay, above 1000. So here I go, I double click here and I zoom the screen for you. So here in the formula bar itself, I'll put here multiply sign and in bracket. Here I'll be selecting this particular data. It should be greater than this particular cell. So before this, if you see, the output was 1200, 1345, you see that value, but when I press enter and if I press enter, now I've got the value which is 1200 and 1345. You see 1200, 1345. So this is what you call the dynamic functions. In the previous version of Excel, people used to face problems and this is the solution for that problem. And last one, this is the example. Here we have the data, but now there's an or condition. Either it can be country India or it can be country as Indonesia, any one choice. So then the formula becomes again equal to filter, press tab key. This is my data set, which is array data. Then we have comma, selected this column equals to this particular cell. But I forgot one thing, I forgot to put a bracket. So how do I put a bracket? In the formula bar itself, I can put here comma, after comma there's a bracket, and if you have an or condition, use plus sign. If it is and condition, and means both the conditions satisfied, or means any one condition should be satisfied. So here I go, I select the option as this data equals to this particular cell, close the bracket and close the bracket again, and here it should be opening bracket. Now I can press enter. So when I do that, if you see, the country is either India or Indonesia and I've got the output here. So there are many techniques. You might be thinking, if there are 10, 20 countries, will it work or not? Yes. Then you have to go for advanced session of Excel. That is possible. But for a beginner, for understanding to the intermediate level, these are the advanced Excel functions over here. So I think you have understood about the advanced filter options in Microsoft Excel and on Microsoft Excel, which is tables. Tables are very important in Excel to give a structure to your data. Tables are very useful to be used into Microsoft Excel functions. You can also format a data set in a proper way. It can also increment the size of a table automatically. Now, first thing, how do we create a table? How do we add the formatting and everything? Let's try to understand. We have a data set on the screen, and if you observe, the data set is having different data, okay, different data format. The first one is the date format, which is in DD, YY format. We have the country, product, month and quantity. These two are numbers, and all the others are text and dates. Now, if I want to add a table, or if I want to create a table of this data, what is the method? There are many methods, 3 methods basically. The first method is press Ctrl T. Ctrl T, when you press, you get a tab over here. In this place, it has selected the data. Carefully observe, there are some dancing ants over here on the corners of this data. It tells you that the data is selected. Second, it says that your table has headers. Okay, if you see that's a table has headers, the first column or the first row is a header data. So now I'll just click on cancel because I'm going to show you the second method. The second method is you can go to insert menu bar or insert tab and click on table. The same dialog box would appear. Okay, it says where is the data for your table, data is selected and the table has headers. The third method, you can go to the home tab or home menu bar and here which is format as table. If you select any formatting from here, let's say if you select this formatting and if you click on OK, the same dialog box appears. So if you're a student in a school or college, remember all the methods. Any method might be a question in exam. But if you're a working professional, remember Control T, shortcut method to create a table. So when you press OK, and if you see this becomes a table, and how do I know it is a table? There is a tab which comes as table design tab. Table design tab appears only when it is a table and only when you are in the table. If we keep a cursor outside the data and if you see the design tab has gone away. If you click inside the table, then the table design tab will be there. So this is the only way by which you can understand whether it's a table or not. Okay, so that is one option. Now carefully observe, we'll be talking about the formatting option here. If you see the alternate rows are colored over here. Alternate rows are colored. Why? Because it's easy to understand and read. We can disable this by the option as banded rows. If I deselect this option, now tell me if you're able to properly read the data or not. Okay, it becomes challenging if I ask you to go to Jordan. Okay, you have to scroll everything and find out. But when I say this banded rows, it becomes quick, a little bit quicker to just see the data over here. So banded rows means alternate rows are colored over here. Okay, we can select and deselect to help you understand. The banded columns means alternate columns would be colored. The first, third and the fifth column would be colored. Why it is done? To make it easy for reading purpose. The next one, if you see the first column, if I select the first column, it will become bold. Carefully observe, it's the first column becoming bold. If I say the last column becomes here as bold. Why do we need to do that? Because in the last column, if you see, this is the total value, which is very important. Usually the last column of your data will be of the total sales, total value, total count or something, which is important. So first column, last column, you can highlight that option. Then we have the header row. If you see the header on the top has been gone away, now it's only a data. Header row by default is required, it makes our work easy. The other option is when you're sharing this data with some other person, and they might filter the data. So they might click on this button and they can filter the values from here. So if you think they should not have this filter button, we can deselect this checkbox. Now the end user with whom you'll be sharing, they cannot filter the data because you're not given that option. However, if that person is smart enough in Excel, the person might click on the filter button and find out the answers. So this was about the table style options. Very simple option here, table style options. Now, what are the other things to give more stylish to our table? So here we go and we can see the different style. But before that, one more option here, very important. If I have this data, which is quantity and value, and if I want to calculate sum of this column, sum, average, minimum, maximum, sum, average, minimum, maximum, and here count, I have to write a function, I have to use a keyboard. But I'll give you a shortcut method where you don't have to use a keyboard, just one click and you get the answers. So for example, for this column, if I show you the last row over here, the data, and if you see the last row, there's no total value in row number 61. We may keep the cursor in the data like this, and here becomes the total row. That's it. No using keyboard. We can select this total row, and what happens is the last row, which is row number 61, became a total. It is by default the sum of the value column. And suppose my boss says, don't give me sum, give me average. I don't have to use my keyboard. We can click on this button over here. And these are list of all the functions which are available. These are aggregation functions, statistical functions. We can select the option as average. We can select the option as count. We can select the option something else, let's say minimum. So this gives us the automatic answers. One more feature about this tables is when we scroll down, the column headers becomes the, you see the value becomes the column headers, quantity. And what is the next column? G column. So this feature is available in Excel tables, not the other place. If I want the total for the quantity column, nothing great I have to do. I have to just click on the last cell, click on this drop down, select the option as sum. We can select the max option, we can select the minimum option and so on. So this way I've got all the aggregation. So not only for this column, but any column if I go, I can get the answers. So today you don't have to write any functions to get the answer. Why was that magic possible? Because of total row. So if I disable the total row, it will be gone away. Now let's see some more examples on the table styles. On the right hand side, if you see, these are different table styles which are available, and we can choose some different table styles to give a more clarity. Now this table styles are chosen because based on the department you work, based on the company logo, based on the product or service which you're offering, it can be anything. So you can choose different colors, different backgrounds to give a proper table styles here. And finally, here comes the data set. If you see, this options you have understood, this one is table styles. If you think the table style which you're looking for is not available, you can click on this new table styles and you can generate your own table styles, and you can make it much better here. So now we can convert this option. The other options would be, suppose this is a table and I want to destroy this table. How do I do that? And I don't want this options over here. Let's say my boss has given me table and he has asked to give the total, sum, average, minimum, maximum. So we clicked on total row. We got the option over here, let's say sum. For this one, we got the option as sum. And now we don't want the table and we want to discard the table. So then if you want to destroy the table, go to table design and click on convert to range. When you click on convert to range, you get a dialog box. Just click on yes. What happened is, now this is no more a table. Okay. If you see, the column headings is D, E, F. Now it's not a table. The table design menu bar has gone away. Now if you share this Excel file with your boss, telling your boss that, boss, I have converted this value. I've got the sum of this data. I've got sum of this data. And when your boss sees the formula, if I double click on this place, and if your boss watches the formula, he might think you are an intellectual person. You know many more things about the Excel. Subtotal 109 and this is the data. And same thing, if you double click, you will understand that this is what you call a function which you have applied. However, we have not written any function. We went to the total row, selected that checkbox and we got the answer. So this way you can destroy the table and it becomes a normal range over here. It's no more a table option. So this is what you call the options here. Now similarly, we have some data on the right hand side, and if I want here, I can again convert into table by pressing Ctrl T and click on OK. So if you see, the banded rows are by default selected, filter button is selected by default, and the table styles. Now in the data set, there is other option which is remove duplicates. Suppose I have some duplicate data. Let me duplicate the data here, Ctrl D. And when we have this duplicate data, and if I want to remove the duplicates, how do I do that? We can keep a cursor in the table and then click on remove duplicates. When we do that, all the columns are by default selected. Columns are selected, and when we click on OK, if you see, 5 duplicate values have been removed. Entire rows have been removed. So some people ask which duplicate is removed, the first row or the last row? See, duplicate is duplicate. Even if it is in the first row or the last row, it's a duplicate. So anything if it removes makes no sense over here. It is fine if it is only giving one record. So now we have the data over here. Now we can just click on OK. So let's try one more. We selected the data, press Ctrl D, and now we can click on remove duplicates, click on OK. That's it. So the duplicate data from this Excel table have been completely removed. And now the last thing is, if you want to rename the table, and you can just give the name as my table 1, enter. So when we do that, my table 1, and what is the benefit of doing this? Suppose you create a new sheet and now you're in that sheet. And if you think about that table, that you want to go back to the table, you can click on this drop down and select the option my table. So this is the address. The name of the table is the address. If you click on that address, you will be going to that particular location. So that is my table which is selected. And here the benefit of this table is, suppose at the bottom, at this place at the bottom, if you add here some value, JUNE June, okay, or JUN, when you press enter, the table selection comes down. You see, when I press enter, if I write APR April, if I write, let's say May, the data automatically gets coming down here. So that is a benefit. Similarly, the other benefit is, if I write here as profit and press enter, the table size automatically increases. So this feature doesn't come without a table. So this way, the horizontal manner and the vertical manner, you can expand the table. You have to remember, you do not have to leave any column in between. You have to write in the immediate data set itself. So here if I write as sales, enter. Now it is possible. But if I write here as sales 2, I will not be getting the answer. So that is what you call a table. So I hope you have understood how to work on a table, how to create a table, and the features about the table in Excel. The slicers and timelines in tables. What are slicers? What are timelines? So basically, in order to avoid the filters which are manually and boring, people use slicers options. Let's try to understand. We have a data set here. It's a very simple table: date, country, product, month, quantity, and value. And if you want to create a table, we have learned a shortcut, Ctrl T and press enter. This becomes our table. Now here, if I want to filter a data, let's say from the month column, I will just click on this month drop down and we can select the option April, May, June, July or something. Let's say I'll select April. So when we do that, we have only data for the month of April. But however, I want to make it little easy for my end user. How do I do that? So here in the table design tab, if you see, we have the option as insert slicer. Here in the insert slicer, we have 5 or 6 options. What are the 6 options? These are the column headers in the data set. So definitely we want an option for month. We can select one checkbox, one slicer, or we can select more than one option. So right now we'll just keep it only one and click on OK. So what happens is on the right hand side, if you see, this is the slicer option which you have got. And here we can select May option from here. You can see the data gets filtered for May. If you select June, we can select from June. So what is this option? It's kind of a filter, but the name is given as slicers. So it is just an interactive way, making it easy for the end user to filter the data. So I can select July, I can select March. And if I want to clear the filter, I can just click on clear option here. Now we can resize, we can change the size of this particular slicer like this. We can decrease the size option from here, or we can decrease the width from or height from here. Now this slicer, there's a separate tab which comes over here. You can see there's a slicer tab. Now in the slicer tab, we have slicer settings. We can send backward and forward. There's a selection pane, and we can work with the size and arrangement as well. So let's say in this particular slicer, I want to have this 2 columns. On the right hand side, if you see, the number of columns is 1. We can type as 2 and press enter. The moment we type 2, here we have this 2 columns. If you select the option as 3, enter, it will have 3 columns over here. So some people like to see the slices in a horizontal format, and some people like to see in the vertical format. You can definitely change the height. I can make it as 2. You can change the width. We can make it as 2. So this is the height and width. You can change the height and width of the buttons. So we can make it as 2 option from here like this. You can see that's a 2 height, but it is very much big. So I can make it as 1, and width would be as 1. So this would be 1 size. It makes a little bit more different for a user to watch. Now this is one slicer. If you don't like it, you select the option and press delete key. Slicers are an interactive way. Let's do it again. Now in the table design tab, we can click on insert slicer. This time we'll pick up, let's say, country, and we'll pick up here, let's say, the product. Now when we click on OK, we have this 2 slicers. Carefully observe, these are 2 slicers, and obviously there are plenty of countries available right now, so many countries. So in order to save time, in order to make it easy for my end user, I can try to arrange this slicer in 2 or 3 columns. So here we go. We can select the option as, let's say, 2 columns. We can select this and make it as 2 columns. And now if you see, the data is divided in 2 columns. Let's make it as 3. Now these are 3 countries. Now if I want to see in India, what is the custard? If you see, that's a custard. That's the only option we have. But on the other hand, if I say, let's say the option, let me clear this. If I select this option, and you can see it is in these 2 countries. If I select one country, it will give me that data. So here we can do an interactive filter. Okay, one filter dependent on another filter. So here we can click on clear filter, clear filter. They are very easy options. So button size and width, and the box size and height and width. Here there are some options where you can change the colors, as I said, depending upon the company logo, depending upon the client logo, or it can be product or service which you're offering. The colors will change from here. Okay, so these are the colors. You can give variety of options here. On the left hand side, you can change the name of that slicer. Okay, if you see that's a product, I can write as product 5, enter. When I change the name on the left hand side, which is product 5, here we can see the name has changed as product 5. So these are the slicer options. Now this was an example of slicers. However, if you want to insert one more slicer by other method, you can go to the insert tab. The cursor is in the data, insert tab or insert menu bar, and here comes the slicer. You will get the same window over here. So this is how you can insert the slicers, making it easy for the end user, and it works an interactive filter. Interesting topic named as 3D sum in Microsoft Excel. Now we have already seen a sum. We can do a sum of the vertical column or an horizontal row. That's known as 2D sum, 2 dimension, a vertical and a horizontal format. But today we'll be learning about 3D sum. What is that exactly, 3D sum? And it's one of the fascinating topic for me, and I was surprised to see this also works in Excel. What is 3D sum? Let's try to understand. We have a data. Let me explain you the data set. we have multiple sheets 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24. Now every year whenever there are some sales done of different products, you can see these are different months, different products, and these are some, let's say, sales or quantity, whatever it can be. So these are the numbers. Every year there's a data coming. Okay, so you see in 2024 these are the products and these are the name of the months, and it can be quantity. Okay, now what I want here is I want to combine data from 2020 to 2024, all the years data together, and I want the output. What is output I want? For example, in the laptop January 2020 it was 3. So 3 plus 10, which becomes 13, 13 plus 7 becomes as 20, 20 plus 8 becomes 28, and 28 plus 2, it should give me 30. So combining all the data together should become as 30. Now it happens usually the data is not kept into one place. People maintain different sheets. This can be months, this can be years, this can be quarters, this can be clients as well. This can be locations as well. So the sheet name can be anything. So how do I do that? People who do not know Excel in detail, they take a lot of time, lengthy method. Let's try to understand in a simple, easy method. So here we go. So what we can do here is we will duplicate a sheet. How do I duplicate a sheet? So I press Control key, I keep it press Control key, drag and drop it outside. So I have duplicated. Let me write down the sheet name as total value. Okay, it can be total value. So obviously this is not the total value, but carefully observe the pattern in all the sheets are same. This is a condition. The row headings and column headings are exactly same. Okay, the positions of April is always E column in all the sheets. It should not swap that January will come here, February will come here. It should not do that. O1 is here and TV is here in different sheets. The position of O1 in all the sheets will be A7. The position of January will be B1 always. So how do we do that? Now carefully observe. So we go to the cell number B2 equal to SUM, press tab key. Sum is a function. We are talking about 3D sum. What is 3D sum? I want sum from all the sheets and all the columns and rows. So columns and rows becomes 2D and sheets become my 3D. Okay. So equal to sum. I will go back to the first sheet, which is 2020. Okay. I went to the first sheet, and when I go to the first sheet, the formula has changed. Let me zoom the screen. The formula became as equal to sum in single quote sheet name. 2020 is a sheet name, exclamation. In that sheet, I want cell number B2. Okay. Because obviously I want 2020 B2 to 2024 B2. After doing that, it was very simple, no magic here. And then when I press shift, I'll press shift key and I'll click on 2024. Shift click 2024. So if you carefully observe, all the sheets in my Excel files are selected. First I went to 2020 and then I press shift and click on 2024. So continuous sheets are selected. Now when I do that, and let me show you the formula, how it looks like. So equal to sum single quotes 2020 से लेके 2024 तक. Okay, 2020 is the sheet name, say 2024 तक. Remember, this is the sheet name. It can be client name, quarter names, month name, anything. And then exclamation is a sign over here in that cell number B2. So from all the sheets, combine all cell number C2s. And when I press enter, the answer is given as 30. If you remember, I have given you a raw total from all the sheets, and this is the output. Now I click on the cell, drag on the right hand side using small doctor symbol, drag at the bottom with the small doctor symbol. Now this is the value here. Now if you want to cross check, okay, the answers might be wrong. For you or me, we have a doubt, right? We can cross check. So how do we cross check? Now we'll take any one cell. For example, in 2020, the last one, it would be easy for us. Every sheet I will go and make it as 5. Okay, every sheet. So I'll type here 5, enter. This sheet I'll put here 5, enter. This sheet I'll put here 5, enter. 2023 I can put 5, enter. And 2024 5, enter. So now what is the output I'm expecting? 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. So 3 and 2, 5, 25. So when I go to total value sheet, the output is given as 25. So yes, the answer is correct. It's working absolutely fine. So this way I've got 3D sum. Now can I calculate 3D average, 3D minimum, okay, or what do you call as minimum of all sheets, minimum, maximum of all sheets, or average. So the formula would remain the same. Let's calculate the average. Equal to average is a function, very simple function, press tab key. Equal to average. Now I'll follow the same method. I'll go to sheet 2020, select cell number B2, okay. So equal to average. If you see the formula bar, it becomes equal to average single quote 2020 exclamation P2 shift click last sheet, shift click 2024 sheet. Remember, the sheets are continuous. I have kept all the sheets together. Okay, and then I can close a bracket, enter. So the average is given as 6 on the right hand side, and the question is what should be the average for May? It should be 5. So if I move it on the right hand side and double click here, so this is the average everywhere I've got. This is what you call 3D sum. So if you are a working professional, you definitely will come across this kind of problem, 3D sum option. So it can be 3D sum, 3D average, 3D minimum, 3D maximum, and 3D different functions as well. I hope you have understood about this topic, the data consolidation in Microsoft Excel. We have learned about 3D sum, which job is to combine all the data, okay, from different sheets, from different cells over here. So mostly it will be from different sheets. But there was a problem which I didn't notify in the previous example. The positions of the column headers and row headers should be same for 3D sum. But obviously, getting a clean data is always a myth. We cannot get a clean data in the company. If you're working professional, you will never get it. So what we need to do is we need to find another solution for that. Let me give a scenario here. Suppose in 2020 sheet, this is the data which is January. In cell number B1, it is January. In sheet 2021, if I delete this January and if I type here, let's say May, and here if I type as January, okay, January, will my Excel be identify that the column headers have changed? It will not be able to understand. Okay, this is the problem with 3D sum. Okay, so 3D sum is good when you have a very clean data. When the data is system generated data, it is following a pattern. But when this kind of problem comes, 3D sum will not work. What will work is data consolidation or consolidate data. That's the name of the topic. First thing, let me delete this sheet. This is not going to work. So remember, data consolidated works flawlessly even when the column headings are changed. Okay. So let's see example here. I'll keep it very simple, just 3 sheets for your understanding, and delete it. So you see, first sheet January is available here, second sheet January came over here, and third sheet January came over this place. Okay. So if you follow 3D sum, what is the output in 3 sheets? Let's try to do it. So let me zoom the screen. First we'll do 3D sum. I will show you a problem, then we'll go for data consolidation. So control and drag and drop. This will be 3D sum. I'll delete the data, equal to sum, open bracket. I'll go to the first sheet, select the cell number B2, shift click 2022, enter, and then we can drag it and drop it on. So let's try to understand, is it value 20 correct or not? Okay, so the first sheet, if I go, the value is 3. First sheet January value is 3. Okay, for which laptop? Second sheet January is how much? 5 for laptop. You see, laptop January 5. 3 plus 5 is equal to 8. And then in 2022, January is 7 for laptop. So it is 8 plus 7 would be 15. But in the output, what I'm getting, the value is 20. So that means this Excel is not following the headers. It is just following the cell numbers. It works good with the cell numbers. So this is not the right method. What is the other option is consolidate. Consolidate. You need something which can capture the column headers. So what we do is, again, I'll just hide this sheet to make it easy. Drag and drop, maybe not drag and drop, I'll keep it as it is, and I'll just create a new sheet. I'll just keep my cursor in new sheet, data menu bar, and here on the right hand side, if you see, a very small option is consolidate. When we click on this consolidate option, you will be getting a dialog box. Now, what it is saying is, first you tell me what function do you want me to apply. You remember 3D sum is sum, 3D average will be average. So here it is giving me flexibility. Do you want sum, average, minimum, maximum, count, everything? So it can give you all the options. We want just sum. Second, it is asking us, give me all the data, give me all the input, I will give you the output. So our job is to click on this button and select data one by one. Okay, so let's do it. We can click on this button, go to the first sheet over there and select the data including column and row heading. Again, click on this and click on add. So I clicked on add. I have to do this one more and 2 more times. Click on this button, go to 2021, select this data again, click on this button and then click on add. So data is added. One more time, we can go back 2022, select the data, click on this button, click on add. So let's understand, from every sheet, that is 2020 A1 to F8, 2021 A1 to F8, 2022 A1 to F8. From every sheet, it has picked up the range. Now, the next part, important part is, We selected function, we selected data, data is given here. Now what are the labels? Top row and left column. Every place, if you see, it's a 2D tables. The column headers are there and the row headers are there. So I have to tell them that there are top rows and left column. Both the places, left column means row headers, top column means column headers. And now we can just click on OK button. The moment I click on OK button, output from all the sheets would be combined. And if you remember, the answer which you are expecting 15 is absolutely correct. So this is what you call as consolidate in Microsoft Excel. So we have got the output here, which is 15. Let me show you one more example. So now this is one data, and here you can quickly understand. If you see, the data is the name of the city. Pune is my city where I stay. Mumbai, Chennai and Goa. These are the places nearby Pune. So these are the places and these are the months, Jan, Feb and March if you see. But here March, Feb and Jan. So it's not in a sequence. But here Jan, Feb, March. Here it is Jan, Feb, March. When the column headers are changing or row headers are changing, still you can get the right answers. Now, how do I do it quickly? One more time here. So we can keep our cursor in the data, go to the data menu bar, then click on consolidate. Here, if you see, we have to remove some existing. I will delete the existing options. It was already there. So I can click on this button and I can select this data like this. Okay. We can select this data, click on this button, click on add button and repeat the same steps for the other two data. Click on this add button and again click on this option and select this data. Now once we do that, obviously there are top row and left column, there are column headers and the row headers, and also create links to data source. What is this create links to data source? Suppose if I change the data in this data in the tables, the output will also change. So it's a linked connection. Okay. When we click on OK, okay, so here I think we have to deselect this checkbox. This option will work when the data is present into different Excel files, not in the same file. So we can just click on OK and here comes the output. So let's try to calculate whether it is correct or not. Let's say January 40. So 23 plus 10, 33, 33 plus 7 is equal to 40. So we have got the answer as 40. Let's check for March 33. So March 3 plus March 7, 3 plus 7 is 10. 10 plus 23 is equal to 33. So it is absolutely correct. So even if you change the column headers or row headers, it is still going to give you the output. So we have seen between different sheets, we have seen within the same sheet as well. You can try the same thing with different files. That is also possible and still you can get the output. That's it. So I hope you have understood about the consolidate data in Excel. That's all for this video.